Hi, this is Dr. Steven with Outclick Magazine. We're so excited to introduce another slice of the arts, entertainment, and theater here in South Florida. There is so much to do. We have a rich arts community here. Today, we want to welcome some folks and friends from Thinking Cap Theater. Brianna Obst, who is the managing director, and Nicole Stoddard, who is the producing artistic director for Thinking Cap Theater. Brianna and Nicole, welcome to the show today.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hi there.
Welcome. You all have a fascinating paradigm of basically a artistic theater that's also a kind of an educational enterprise as a change agent for our culture. And I've already stolen your thunder, and that's tell us about Thinking Cap Theater for somebody, maybe one person who's never been to your shows or knows what your theater is about.
Sure. So Thinking Cap Theater is a theater company that was founded in 2010, and our mission has remained pretty much unchanged throughout our entire decade of work. We present plays that experiment with form, that push boundaries, that reimagine what a theater experience can be. We present classical pieces in fresh and imaginative ways, and we program plays that represent the diversity of the world in which we live. We have sought for a decade to hire a full range of people that represent our full humanity off stage and on stage for the last 10 years.
What inspires you to start this this kind of paradigm in theater? What was your inspiration when you as you look back?
I think for me, my background was in academia. I didn't want to be a theater critic or a professor of theater history. I wanted to sort of bridge the gap between the smart stuff that helps us understand the really long history of theater and of human existence with everyday practice. And so, we call it Thinking Cap because it's thoughtful, it's compassionate, it's intelligent, it's thought-provoking.
You need to put your thinking cap on when you go to the theater. One of the things that the arts and the theater has such an opportunity to do is to teach, educate, and transform us. And as we've looked at so much at your shows, you've won so many awards. I'm going to have Arthur helps me in the background. We want to put up some of your awards. And we're talking about the struggle of some of these organizations, and everybody's going through this COVID. If you want to tell us about maybe a little bit about that as we kind of look at your awards and all the fabulous things that you've won.
I think, the theater scene here in South Florida in particular, for as long as I've been here and for the research that I've done on theater in the last, say, 40 years here, has been fairly traditional, a lot of touring shows, a lot of Neil Simon. So, the awards that we've gotten are surprising that we've gotten any, really, because we definitely do work that you would find off Broadway or off Broadway or on the Outer Loop in Chicago or San Francisco, something like that. But the work that we've done is a testament, I guess, the awards that we've earned, I guess, is a testament to the fact that that boldness and creativity can be award worthy, and I think that we have been part of a shift in the theater community here over the last decade, along with a few other companies like Island City Stage, that have sort of diversified the theater here in a very positive way.
It's the change agent, I think, that theater has the opportunity to do, not just to entertain, but change, like you said you all are doing. That's fascinating. Tell us about the venue. You all have work at a place started the Vanguard. I'll let you explain more about that and what people can expect when they come to the Vanguard.
So the Vanguard is a flexible black box theater space.
Okay.
Whenever I initially had the thought to start a theater company back in like 2009 or so, I had this sort of twin idea of, if I could have anything I wanted, what would I have? I would have this theater company, and I would have this space as the hub for it. And so the Vanguard was born. The idea of it was born in that moment, and it was 5 or 6 years later that we found the old church on Andrews Avenue that was built in the 1930s, and spent about 18 months converting it into a performance space. And so lots of other companies have worked out of the Vanguard in addition to Thinking Cap. It's just served as Thinking Cap's home since 2015.
Okay. And how symbolic that a church was transformed into this kind of space. How symbolic the church, which has been not only the change agent, but sometimes holding us back in both paradigms as a culture. It's been a positive influence in both ways.
The first play that we ever produced at the Vanguard, there were some delays with getting everything permitted and completed. The first play that we staged at the Vanguard was a play called Church. And we got a permit from the city to do it like a tent revival, and it was staged in the parking lot, and people came in from the streets, and it was a really a fascinating experience to do a piece like that, but very true to our mission and our brand.
The Key West Theater, I've been down there. They were, I think, First Baptist Church or something of Key West that they transformed into a church, into a theater. Excuse me. And I am from Lexington, Kentucky. There is a well-known pizza place that was I believe a Jewish synagogue that they turned into the pizza place, and the altar is now the bar. And it is well known for being this transformed. You go in the stained glass windows. It's an amazing experience, but they did that in Key West, and you've done that here. But it's a great use of repurposing the space and doing that.
There's a really long history of a relationship, good or bad, throughout history, of relationship between church and theater. And so I think, there was a time when priests were the first performers. So it's very fitting. That was like in the Middle Ages. So it's very fitting now that they're still entangled, but in much more positive ways.
Well, I think some of their gowns, shoes, and headwear, I think that was a great
right?
piece.
Yeah.
Coming up Friday, October 23rd, 2020, you have a show called Laced. Tell us about Laced. Tell us about that. What is the show like? What can people expect? And I think I'm interested in what are some of your social goals you have in putting that show on?
Sure. So I can talk a little bit about the performance Laced. It's a brand new play by playwright Samantha Mueller. It's a new LGBTQ political piece. A lot of good messaging at the heart of it. But basically, we have all these organizations you can see on board who are supporting us and really pushing the initiative of Get Out the Vote is intertwined into this performance. The play is set in a queer bar in Tampa, Florida, where a hate crime has just occurred, and it's set in 2 times. It's set the night of the crime and the incident, and the day before, the day after. Yeah, I was like confused. And so basically, we flip between these 3 people who work at the bar. A character called Minnow, and she is a Hispanic woman who runs the bar. Identifying as she, her, hers. We also have Kat, who's our non-binary character, and they are an employee of the bar. And then we also have Audra, who is the youngest and the bar back. And so it's...
And bisexual.
So it
adds an interesting perspective.
Yeah. So, and we have a wonderful cast that we've put together.
It's been our first it's our first full-length play that we've forayed into in a digital format. So we've been thinking of words to describe what it is, like film or theater, because it is this like hybrid between theater and film, and you can't really explain it until you've been down the rabbit hole of trying to present it.
Absolutely. And it's been for everybody involved, from like director, I'm the sort of design tech kind of person, the cast. It's been a giant learning curve because actors are turning techie. We have to put lights in their house and backdrops, and they have to
cameras
and they have to be operating all this at the same time as giving a performance to a screen and connecting with 2 others in the virtual world. And then also as like we sit there at rehearsals and we can't really say anything. Like to give feedback, we have to interrupt. Like our screen has to pop up, and we have to be like, "Okay, sorry," and they're like, "Okay," It's been a very big
Interesting process,
learning curve for everyone, an interesting process, and
but
exciting.
The incredible thing is that the potential reach for pieces of theater now that are digital is much greater. So people, across the Atlantic can see this. People on the West Coast can see this. We've been partnering with a theater out in Berkeley called Shotgun Players that's been doing a lot of really strong digital work and trying to cross promote and let people see that there is a lot to see right now, in spite of the fact that we can't be in person the way that we once were yet.
Yeah, and I think also like just the question of what is theater right now and live theater, and what's been interesting over the course of the rehearsal process, because there's been many play readings and so forth out there, and then there's been people filming on stage. But what if we're all in separate locations? What is theater when we're in separate locations and we're not reading a play, we're performing a play? So
yeah, there's a real interesting kind of liveness and immediacy, I think, to the way that we have put together our presentation of Laced.
Over the course of the rehearsal period. It feels like
its
theater.
own unique thing, as close to theater as we've gotten so far.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, we were talking to Brett Carlin, who's the director of Master Chorale of South Florida. And he said they are doing what you're doing. They have a virtual choir. I called it singing in a tube, and he corrected me. It's a virtual choir. And he said they have expanded the people that can come. And he said they have 400 people signed up for their virtual choir. So the silver lining in all of this is that, A, there's a lot of folks across the nation and the world that are going to be part of Master Chorale of South Florida. And the content will go out to so many people that will experience that. So maybe a silver lining, it sounds like already this, even though it's been extraordinarily challenging for you to create this, the content that you're creating will have a lasting effect, not just on people here, but we'll be able to watch it nationally and internationally, and it will live on past the actual show dates if you choose to make that platform.
And that's what we're hoping. So, and also this particular piece, Laced, was slated to be part of our 10th anniversary season, which we only got to do one of the shows, Happy Days out of 5, in February. And so this particular piece, we both felt very passionate about it, and the fact that the time is now to perform it, which I didn't mention. It's set on the eve of the 2016 election. And so laced in there and intertwined in there are many, many messages and thoughts of now. And there's our commercial.
Back when you could be in a bar at midnight.
I'm even more eager to see it because you said it was set at a hate crime. I'm even more eager to see it. I was chatting with a new friend who lives in Orlando and said he was at Pulse the night of the shooting. He was not shot, but he was injured because in getting away, he fell and hurt his knee. And so I was learning more about what it was like to be there. And so that the impact of him being there. So I'm eager to see, this kind of show and this kind of theater.
Within the show, there are a couple of references to Pulse being set, time-wise, not too far in the distant future from Pulse, and also location-wise in Tampa, just west of Orlando. So there is a couple of sort of references. And when the hate crime, and there's also a power outage occurs in the play, there is that fear of like, this just happened so recently in a city not so far away. And so there's lots of echoes in there.
Yeah, but the key is the messaging. The messaging of the play is ultimately to just take action, to band together and take action, lace up your boots and go out and don't shy away from these experiences, but learn something and take positive action. And right now, that positive action is voting.
Voting, yeah, for sure.
I was going to ask you about the title. It's Lace, and so lace up your boots and take action. Is that the?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a double entendre. I think it's also the unknown possibility of whether or not the people at the bar have had their drinks laced in the moment that this hate crime occurred.
Gotcha.
So it's dual purpose.
Okay. You've got 2 more shows coming up. Meet the Jets, and I did pronounce that correctly. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
And the other one that is a mouthful: a baby, a birdcage, and a ballot box. And so if I don't stumble over my words, if you want to tell us about those 2 upcoming shows, both in terms of plot and maybe some of the social implications of those shows.
Sure. Yeah.
You want to take that one?
So coming into 2020, we were very well aware that this was the centennial of the 19th Amendment, which afforded most women, lots of people were not included, but white women in particular, the right to vote in our country. And so we wanted to mark that somehow. And when the pandemic hit, that project got put on hold. And a few months in, we decided we had to salvage something of our season. If we couldn't salvage a main stage production, then we needed to move forward. So we put in place the History in Action performance series, and we have 2 components, as you just mentioned. Meet the Jets is a piece where it's a 1-hour performance live. 5 actors portray 10 suffragettes. 9 men and 1 man, including Frederick Douglass. And I can't say I wrote the script. I would say I poured over a lot of primary documents and speeches by these historic figures and assembled them into a script in a sort of political rally kind of context with myself as the host, which is as close as I ever come to acting. And then the other piece, and that I should say Meet the Jets is I think significant because it shows how ahead of their time they were, these women, in raising concepts like intersectionality without actually using Kimberly Crenshaw's term. They show how painfully aware these men and women were of how gender and race and class and sexual orientation colluded together to create compounded discrimination for certain groups of people.
I want to pick up.
Go ahead.
I want to pick up something you said because we had a serendipitous moment. A staff member, right before we went to do this, sent me an email about the 100th anniversary of women's, and I didn't know that was that. And just literally sent me an email and said maybe we should mention that. I didn't realize that. So repeat again what that is coming up before you move on.
So Meet the Jets. And also the parlor play, The Baby, a Birdcage, and the Ballot Box, are both pieces that are celebrating the centennial of the 19th Amendment, which afforded lots of women in our country the right to vote. A lot of women didn't get the right to vote until the 60s, but that's a separate. That's a secondary conversation.
So the amendment was passed in
1920
in the August, and on November 2nd, which is the day before the election here,
voting day,
was the actual day that women in this country were allowed to vote for the very first time. So we are marking it with Meet the Jets, and then the other one is the mouthful. We abbreviate it to the parlor plays. Which we are doing a reading of 2 plays that were written in the 1910s by suffragettes. And it's basically two plays, one of which is a group of women who, it's a comment on the fact that there was the view that women couldn't be at home with children and have a career. And it's a very funny play of 4 women living together and deciding to adopt a baby, and basically saying, yes, we can do it.
And raise her as a baby suffragette.
A baby, yes. Yeah. And the second play is 6 parrots in cages who want to be free, and basically commenting that they are women, and the man just comes and pats them on the head and gives them a cracker.
Yes.
And their wings are clipped, so not all.
One of them has clipped wings.
Yes.
One breaks free.
One breaks free, and the others are there with their clipped wings. Can they be released and freed to be within society, basically?
Yeah.
Right?
There's a whole collection of plays that were written by amateur and professional playwrights in the early 20th century around the issue of suffrage. So when I found the collection, I sifted through it, and I was fascinated. They are funny, and they're
very funny.
They're some things haven't changed and some things have. So it's worth a watch.
It reminds me of the phrase, I'm not for sure where it's from. You'll have to remind me, does the caged bird sing?
Yeah.
Yep.
So actually what's cool about the Baby the Birdcage and the Ballot Box is that one of our performances is on the eve before the election, which is the day that women first got the right to vote. And we should add that especially Meet the Jets is a family-friendly kind of performance as well.
Okay.
So that's worth a mention. We've been lucky to perform it at some high schools already.
And for Broward County Libraries.
Broward County Libraries, yeah. So it's a fun, educational, family-friendly piece.
And these are all virtual, just so we're clear. They're all virtual coming up? Okay.
Yes, they are all virtual, and all our performers are in separate locations. One, in fact, streams in from New York. One of our company members just moved to New York. So they're all virtual and been done in a very safe, COVID-friendly way.
Very good. Well, we look forward to having them. Your 10th anniversary is this year, so congratulations on the sustainability of what you have created and the enterprise that you have created. Congratulations. December 16 was our first issue, so we're rounding the corner for an anniversary coming up for us as well. So we'll have a party and celebrate. But again, this is a really fascinating paradigm that you've created in the theater industry. So congratulations on this.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Is there anything you wanted to cover or talk about that I didn't ask?
I think I would add that for the performance of Laced, that we have about a dozen individuals and organizations who have stood up and partnered with us to make this production happen. We did not have any revenue coming in all year, so it would not have been possible without these partners.
Yeah. And
World AIDS Museum, our fund, the Center for Lesbian Rights, Human Rights Campaign,
and the Dolphin Democrats,
Thou Art Woman,
Ignite,
and you all for providing this platform. But so every performance, all 6 performances of Laced, will be followed by a talkback. The performance is only about 70 or 80 minutes. The talkback will happen around 9 p.m. this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 30th, 31st, and 1st. And people from these different organizations will be there speaking to their missions and their platforms. And we will be there, the playwright will be there, the cast will be there to talk about the play and talk about the powerful intersection of art and politics right now.
Those talkbacks will also be streamed live on our Facebook page. So our ticketed people will be present and asking the questions, but we are also streaming them via Facebook as well. So if someone saw a performance and had a talkback with a particular organization, then they can catch, some more conversation about it during the run of the show as well.
And the dates are October 23rd, 24th, 25th, which is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then again on the 30th, October 30th, 31st, and November 1st, 2020. In case somebody watches this video in 5 years, they're not trying to get
when's the show?
When's the show? But yes, the HRC, we work a lot with David at our fund. We work with Jason over at ArtServe quite a bit. We work with the World AIDS Museum. They're all great organizations that you partnered with. So that's great to hear the interconnectivity. Another silver lining of all of this is some of the silos that we had between organizations and among organizations have been broken down, and the dialogues and the conversations that have almost been forced have been so productive and so great to see. So the last question I ask everyone in these shows are, during these challenging and unprecedented times, what words of encouragement can you give our viewers? And I'll let you jump in, whichever one wants to go first.
I mean, I would say that it's like you've said so far, the silver lining is that we have access to work that we would never be able to see. So there is a really diverse range of theater offerings out there right now, from the kind of work that we're doing to digital archives. Give it a search, go outside of your comfort zone, pick a place on the map, anywhere on the map, and do a search and see what you can find, because there is no shortage of really, really good quality theater out there digitally right now.
Yeah, going to the theater has a different kind of meaning, but you can go to the theater from your home all around the world at the moment. So that's one exciting
And I think that
thing.
will continue to be the case, maybe indefinitely, but certainly for the foreseeable future, that people will now have the option. And, you know, for the elderly, for people who have any kind of disability that cannot get around well, this has opened up so much new access that we can't take for granted.
I think the inspiration I've taken from our talk is be the change you want to see.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
And then we're going to follow up with where people can donate. So Arthur's going to put up the page where people can donate. And I'll let you talk about it, but I'm going to tell people this is the time to get out your checkbooks and your credit cards and help out our theater arts organization. We must keep them alive and going during this time. It is essential for our culture, it is essential for our children, for the next generation. So if you want to add anything to that, you can, but I will say very, very loudly, this is the time to open up and help and keep these wonderful organizations alive.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, we're a 501c3 non-for-profit, and obviously very, very few theater organizations out there can survive on ticket sales alone. And when you're dealing with, you know, 12 to 18 months of closure, donations are definitely something that we need now more than ever. I mean, even the work that we're doing digitally, it's every bit as time consuming and costly as the in-person work. So it's, you know, that's why we're so fortunate to have had the sponsorship that we've had for Laced, or else we would still be dormant.
Yeah. And
There's a donate button right there, but go ahead.
no, there is a donate button right there. It's
Right there, it's in bright yellow.
Oh,
It needs to have some bigger arrows going to it, but
yeah. But yeah, I mean, the thing is saying what Nicole was adding to what Nicole was saying is that the work that we're doing still is, you know, is costly, and we, you know, want to be paying everybody for the work. You know, I think a lot of people in the theater industry, performing arts industry, have been asked to do so many things for free in the last 6-7 months, you know, because and they're like, okay, yes, because they just want to be doing stuff. But, you know, we're working with professional actors and professional designers, and we want to make sure that everybody is paid to do their work, because it is their work.
I think in the early
right?
in the early stages of the pandemic, that there was a lot of free content and a lot of unpaid labor, and the shift that we've had to all make on the other side of the pandemic is making the case for quality digital work, and for the importance of paying and valuing that work, and valuing the people who are creating it, so that on the other side of this, we can all still have a profession and an art form to appreciate.
yes.
So you can obviously donate and get your tickets to any of the shows, and
We're
you
going
can
to
get
put up your links here. Go ahead.
Yes, awesome. So you can get the tickets. You could visit our website, or our tickets are sold through Eventbrite as well. So, but if you go to our website there, right on the landing page, you'll see our virtual programs that you can click on and purchase tickets, and we can see people on the screen.
Very good. I'll have Arthur put up your other social media as well. We have those, Thinking Cap Theater. It's TRE.org. And then we have your social media on there as well. So we'll leave that up. So, but a lot of great shows to come. And like you said, this is the time to do it. If you'd like to stay on our list, you can text. We'll get that up. OCQ to 22828 to get on our email list and sign up for it and keep up to date what's going on. Brianna and Nicole, it's been great talking with you and learning more about the theater. I feel like we could talk all day about the work that you all need to be done, but I really appreciate you taking your time, and we look forward to the shows that come, and we look forward to the progression of when things come back open and we can see you in person as well. But thank you again.
Likewise, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, David.
Thank you.